All right, I think we're good to go. So this is a new format for us. We're just going to basically let you guys ask any questions you want. Um, and what we'd like to do is, if you type your question into the Q&A, then if you've got audio, we're going to try and allow you guys to use your mics and interact with us with the microphone, as opposed to just writing out your questions, so we can have more of a conversation. So it literally is ask us anything. We're pretty open. We've got a lot that we can go over, but we really want to answer your questions. So
We have had some questions come through from email, so we might kick off with those to start with. And one of the questions we've had come through on email is about a new feature we have coming up where you'll be able to have the camera web page come up into NX. So if I could let Tony run through a demo on that one with you guys.
So camera web page. You guys want to see the camera web page? So I have a 4.1 beta set up in my house here, which is somewhat dangerous. That's all right. So here I am. Hello. So if we look at one of the cameras out front, so I've got some digital watchdog cameras installed outside. So you can see kind of my front area where the gate is. People drop stuff off. So in 4.1, in the past, if you wanted to go in and change camera settings and you wanted to go in and modify something on the camera side, generally we had the advanced tab and we allow you to do some of the stuff that's being exposed by OnVIF or by the SDK of the camera. And now we just made it even easier because one of the big features of 4.1 is actually a new browser interface. Or sorry, new browser embedded in the client, the Chromium browser. So you got a lot more browser functionality. So we've added this web page tab. And when you click on the web page tab, it should just automatically log you into that camera's web page and bring it up in the interface. So you can go in and you can, modify things in the camera. Like maybe you don't want a sharp image, or maybe it's not bright enough outside for you. Um, Pretty much any settings inside that camera itself. Could be useful too if you're using cameras that have like HTTP generic events that are sending stuff over that don't have native event support. Basically, this is what it looks like. Any questions about that, Matt?
So will we be able to control, like, if you've got the cameras that have line crossing and bits and pieces like that, can we control the line crossings and those sorts of bits and pieces from that web page as well?
Oh, you should be able to, yeah. So right now, 4.1 beta is out, right? So if I go to, let's add a web page in here. If I go to my NX right now and say, ooh, that's not right. Hopefully I remember my password, yeah. So in my NX right now, if you go to download, you go to the beta, 4.1 is here. So 4.1 beta is available for download. Obviously, we don't want you guys to install it into production systems. This is really for your internal testing. And we have a community on our support portal. Pull it up. So click on community. And if you see here, we got beta feedback. So if you find any bugs with the beta, you can put them right in here, and our support guys will take a look at it and respond to you. So for example, somebody tried it on 20.04 LTS and had some issues with the client starting up. So they just posted that yesterday or this morning, I can't remember. So we're getting feedback already. But the beta is open. There's nothing really anything special you need to do for it. There are some features that require you to use the push notifications, and the beta requires you to use a 20.1 mobile client, and that's only available right now for Android devices. So you can just download it straight from here and open it up on your phone. Make sure you have can install unsigned apps on it, and then you'll be able to put the Android version in. If you want to try to the Apple version, we do have Apple Test Flight for beta testers. We haven't really been using it, but if you'd like to try it, I suggest you guys just put a post in the beta feedback. You want to try it, and our guys will probably add you to the Test Flight so you can become a beta user on Apple devices as well. Some follow-up questions to that was, what if the camera needs plug-in like ActiveX? Aaron, I'm not sure. The browser that's embedded, I've been playing with it. I haven't really found any websites that don't work in it. I can play back YouTube and kind of all that sort of good stuff. So if I open up YouTube now, in the past, if you notice that anything that had some sort of embedded plugin would be not allow you to play a video. Obviously now, it's May the 4th yesterday, but now YouTube and everything works just like a normal browser inside of it. So my example or my suggestion is you guys test out everything you want it to work with and tell us what you see.
So I'm on my particular system, Aaron. I've actually got the ActiveX ones. So I'll be testing it later today. So I'll be testing in mine. But currently I'm only running at NX1 and I can't put the beta on at NX1. So I'm upgrading that.
Yeah.
It doesn't let me.
Probably. The beta doesn't always have every single install package. It's usually for Windows and Ubuntu Linux, and then the kind of less important platforms like ARM come later. Just because it takes a lot of work to get done. So Adam, were there any more questions about? They assume the camera needs to be local to the PC and not remote. No, that's wrong, Aaron. This is one of the benefits. Thank you for bringing that up. This is one of the huge benefits, is that because you're connecting through the server to the web page, it should work remotely as well. So you don't need, it's a huge benefit. You don't need to go to that local site and view it, because our server is sitting on that network and it's connecting from the server to the web page to bring that web page into the client. So
to put this into context, Aaron, this is one that I've been playing with a bit. So if you're using LPR cameras and bits and pieces, so rather than having to log in and change that the LPR whitelist and blacklist, you actually had to do it from NX just by logging into the actual web page of the camera. It's a huge advantage. It has made this, it's a huge update, this one coming for us. It's a really cool feature. There's a lot more that you can do with it that we haven't quite run through yet, but it is really cool. And if you're talking about, we got some other, people that use other brands as well, like some of the Mobotics ones and bits and pieces like that. Yeah, you've got control over their features and bits and pieces as well by logging into the camera.
Yeah, Adam has a follow-up question. You want to try and talk, Adam? Let's try. Adam, you should be live on audio now if you want to try the audio. Maybe.
No.
No, didn't work.
Apparently not. We did have a question before about when it is available for Apple. So it is technically available for Apple. You just have to be an Apple beta tester. So it's just, it works out, Android's a little bit easier to run beta testing on than it is through Apple phones. So you can ask to be an Apple tester.
Right here.
Right
on the
right
beta
on
feedback.
The
on the beta feedback forum, just go here and say, hey, I'm an Apple user. Can I get access to the beta for Apple?
Yeah,
and then our
it just works.
Guy will probably add you to the test flight, which is required for Apple to allow beta testers to try a beta version of an app.
But when 4.1 comes out, it does work with Apple and it will work with Android as well.
Adam had a couple follow-up questions. If your browser is based on an IE or newer Chrome, etc., that need IE to function correctly. Oh, our browser is based off of Chromium. So Chromium is the open source engine that drives Chrome. So Chrome browser is is the product made from the Chromium browser, and the Chromium browser is an open source project based off of WebKit. That's like a really standard browser environment. So it's based off of Chrome, not on IE. For cameras that may need IE to function correctly, Matt and I were talking about that before you guys jumped on. It probably works because most IE is deprecated now, so it's no longer supported, right? So now that Microsoft uses Edge, which is also based off WebKit like Chromium, so that's why it's a much better browser. And most of those camera manufacturers have had to move away or offer like an HTML5 version that you can switch to in the camera because IE is no longer supported by Windows, so we're not going to support it either. All right. Will the feature work across all server bases? Yes. Every feature we implement, for the most part, on this is universal, right? It doesn't matter which OS platform you're running off of. There's a couple that are a little bit touchy, like the ability to push your screen to a video wall is Windows only, I think. But other than that, there's not many features in our platform that require to use any specific OS.
We've got a question here about the security connection through the NX Cloud.
Okay. Let's see.
Hi, Michael, by the way. I look forward to going to Darwin with you when we can start to travel.
So let me piece together.
I just want to interrupt there, Tony, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
If you do come back to Australia, we need to do a Darwin trip with Michael. So much fun.
A Hanwha trip?
Darwin.
Sorry.
Yeah. They're good fun trips.
All right, let me see if I got this. I gotta move this stuff around real fast. Haven't done the architecture in a while. Boop. Boop. Third party via NX Cloud, storage management goes here. And no, that's not right. I'm getting close though. I think that's it. All right, so the question was, what is the security of the connection through cloud, right? So every single component in this architecture, as of 4.0, you have the option in your system to set up allow only secure connections. And when you do that, then everything is encrypted with HTTPS and an SSL certificate. So it's like 256-bit encryption, basically. So everything that goes through the system, regardless of whether or not it goes through the cloud, uses secure communication methods already. For cloud, it's the same thing, pretty much, right? Cloud always uses SSL for the connections. Any sort of password or encrypted information always gets encrypted via the cloud. So it's really up to you whether or not you decide to enforce those secure connections or not. The only downside to enforcing secure connections would be like if you have a third-party integration that uses like HTTPS or HTTP requests, but doesn't for some reason have the ability to support HTTPS headers on a generic event, but that's pretty rare. So I mean that's pretty much the only downside. It doesn't really increase. It doesn't increase CPU usage, network usage, nothing like that. So, I mean, and encrypting video traffic is an add-on on top of that, which is basically from the server to the clients, anything that, once you've enabled this feature, anything that happens from that point on is now encrypted between the server application and the clients. It does not encrypt the stream from the camera to the server. But if you're using cameras that have HTTPS communication, I believe that's encrypted anyways. So I hope that answers your question.
It's just asked another question. So there is no way for the traffic to be intercepted and viewed?
Well, there is a way, which is that you could have a virus on your machine that gives you root access, and then they can read everything your machine is doing, right, at the chip level. But other than that, unless someone has physical access to your machine, then there really is no way for them to intercept that communication, unless they're using like a quantum computer and like in devs or whatever. And then they broke all encryption, right?
We have a question from a little mate in New Zealand. Does push system updates to client work? How does that mechanism work?
Push system updates to client. Let Andy, you know what? All right, I'm going to let you ask that question in person because I'm not sure what you mean. Andrew, you there?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hey, what's up,
Yeah,
man?
how are you? Nice
I'm all right.
nice to hear you, lads.
Yeah. So what do you mean by this push system updates to client work?
I was under the impression that with version 4, that any clients that are connected to a system, when you do an upgrade, a system upgrade, that the clients would get a push update rather than having to log off, log on. You need to update your client and download that update. I thought it was part of the one push system now.
Well, when you go to updates, one of the things you'll notice, and unfortunately I can't do it on this one, maybe I can try it on our main demo system. Give me a second. Let me switch over to it so we can see it. So if I was going to upgrade our main demo system to the new beta, right? Let's use that build.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. I don't have it in front of me. So, all right. So build number 30798. That means we built the software almost 31,000 times before 4.1 beta came out. In case you don't think we're busy. Then you grab the password and do select build. And then you can do the git update file and download it, or you can do the download here, right? And it's going to go in and you see it's got the client listed that I'm connecting with right now. So my guess is, and I haven't tried it with multiple people connected to the system at the same time, my guess is any client that's currently connected would be shown here, but I could be completely wrong. But the short answer is no, it doesn't push it and automatically replace it. What it does is it downloads the client and puts it on the server so that anybody who's on a closed network should be able to upgrade without having to have internet access. I think that's what was done in 4.0.
Yeah, that's exactly the feature that I was looking for, essentially. Closed network updating.
Yeah, I think that's what we did at 4.0, if I remember right. It's that the client gets downloaded with the update package and it's on the servers, and then from that point on, anyone who logs in into the system can update without being connected to the internet.
I've already tested that feature. It does work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tested that at a secure site. We put it in via USB into the server, and then all the clients that were connected to who had the ability to download from there. It works well, Andy.
I haven't actually had a chance to test it myself, so this was the perfect time to find out.
Well, there you go.
It does work. Yeah.
All right.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Good question, Andy.
Hey, Andy has another question. Are you still there, Andy?
Oh, wait, I just knocked him off. All right, we'll bring him back. All right, Andy, you're back again.
You had a second question there, Andy.
Yeah, not so much a question, but a feature. I'm loving the idea of the built-in web client, the Chromium browser. And one particular thing I do on servers that I build is I put in a web-based management of the operating system. It's called Cockpit. And it allows me to set up hard drives and change IP addresses of the server all through a web interface. If I could open up a web page when the client's not actually connected to a server, so browse offline, if I could open up a web page within the NX interface at that point, I could in fact configure the server's IP address before the service is running. And I could use NX as a front end to an NVR. I could use the client as a front end.
Yeah, I'd say put that in the feature request part of the forum. I mean, right now, all the web pages are stored in the database, right?
Yes.
So that you need a server. We've talked internally multiple times about making the client only a bit more robust, and giving it like its own database. But right now, it's not that way, right? So this is like a place where I'll give you guys a hint, everybody on the call. The people who post about their ideas are the ones that get paid attention to. So if we have that community forum on our support portal, if you guys all agree that something's a good idea, or if you just want to share an idea you have, the more you participate in that, the more influence you have on our roadmap. All right.
The biggest example of that is push notification, guys. Like everyone's been pushing and pushing and pushing, and that was going to be a 4.1 patch, but it got brought forward to 4.1 because everyone was asking for it.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is if you have a new feature like that, Andy and the rest of you guys, is get on the community and really blast it. I mean, just do it repeatedly. I know our product management team pays attention to that.
Nice.
So the more noise you make there, not only our product management team, our CEO looks at it a lot now too. So the more noise you make in the forum, the more likely you are to have that feature get in faster, right? So that's my suggestion for you guys is any features like that. I mean, I'm sure you guys have great ideas. We hear a million good ideas like all the time. They're amazing ideas. There's only so much we can do. So the more noise there is about one particular feature, the more likely that one is to make it into a release or a patch. So,
or if it's just something we haven't thought of.
I think that the built-in Chromium browser is a huge leap forward.
Yeah, well, even with the browser, there are still some limitations too, right? So, make some noise if you're seeing something in the browser that you'd like to see improved. For example, it drives me nuts that when I go and I have set up a layout with certain web pages that I want, if I refresh that layout, it reverts back to the original page that it was on, even though I've already navigated away from those pages, and that drives me nuts. Right, because I want to set up that interface without having to manually input all the web pages. Our guys understand that, right? So you can see here, it's taking me back to my Gmail instead of taking me back to my Drive, which is really, like, for me, not what I wanted. I had gone in here, I had set up I'd gone to my Gmail, and then I'd gone into Slides to view the 4.1 presentation, right? But it didn't keep that state, right? So it's not maintaining state right now, and that would be a feature that I think would be super useful and would allow you to do a lot more things with the built-in browser. So thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
We have another question from Aaron. When you've bookmarked footage in NX and the hard drive then gets full, will it delete the bookmark footage, or will it keep the footage until the bookmark is deleted?
All right, let me see. Where's that question?
That's just in chat.
When you bookmark footage in NX and the hard drive gets full, will it delete the bookmark footage, or will it keep the footage until the bookmark is deleted? I believe right now it's purely time-based, right? So if you've got it set, it's based off the amount of storage. So if you've got something that's bookmarked and you want to get it out of the system before it gets overwritten, then you'll need to manually export it right now. Another great feature request, by the way, I've been asking for backup bookmarks for like years. Since bookmarks came out, I'm like, okay, now back them up. And then our guys are like, well, but they can manually back them up. But I would like to automatically back up bookmarks, because to me, bookmarks is a key kind of way to know that this video is important. Right now, I think it's overwritten. You don't maintain your bookmarks. So that would be the answer there. There's some other questions, right? Oh, we already answered that one. Have we addressed the issue of live view speeding up when you minimize the client and reopen it? I don't know about that issue, Michael. It sounds like a support forum question, honestly. I haven't heard that before. So my guess is they've either addressed it. The best way to know if they've addressed it, by the way, is in the release notes for the beta or the feature, is to go and look in at the improvements and bug fixes. That sounds like a bug fix to me. So
the latest monthly patch, which we put out not that long ago, that fixed a couple of issues similar to that, Michael. So I'd have a look at that one. Speak to Ryan about it first, though, because Ryan's pretty up to date with the patches and stuff. Is there a way to embed an NX camera stream?
Oh, here it is, right here. Fix the playback bug which occurred after a Zoom window was repeatedly. No, is that it? Nope, that's not it. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Or Zoom window. Okay.
That fixes the same issue.
All right. So what is the next question, Matt?
Is there a way to embed an NX camera stream to a remote website via NX rather than port forward the RTSP stream?
Is there a way to embed rather than grab the RTSP stream from the server? Yes.
And rather than port forward it, yeah.
Yes, there is a way. If you go to Works with an X and you go to stream the YouTube with OSB, live stream NX to YouTube, then you could embed, create a live stream on YouTube and then embed that in a web page without having to do any coding. Answer the question?
We've actually done this a few times as well, Warren. It's quite funny. Schools actually do it too. They use it for to show the pickup area and stuff like that. And schools have got it on like a web page so they can show how busy or not busy the school pickup area is.
So Glenn asked the same question as Andrew, so we're going to close that one. Hillel asked a question: is there a redundancy server in Australia? I think that's about the cloud. Is that here? Let's let Hillel jump on and ask that question. Hello.
Hilly, you there? No.
All right. So I'm guessing you mean, is there a content delivery network in Australia for our cloud server? And the answer is yes. We have several different locations around the world where the CDN extends to, built on AWS, and Australia is one of them. What support is there for 4K cameras? So Daniel Humby, let's ask Daniel this question. Is he still online? Oh yeah. Hey Daniel. I'm not sure if your mic works, but we're gonna allow you to talk if you want to. I think everybody came ill prepared to talk. That's all right. So Daniel, we support 4K cameras, right? If a camera is showing up and it's saying that it's not a 4K stream, but it's a 4K camera, then what that means is the default resolution of that camera is going to be less than 4K. So a lot of times, for example, you may get a 4K camera that can do like 12 frames per second, or it can do like 1080p full 30 frames per second, right? And when they come from the manufacturer and they're recognized via OnVIF or their API, then they're going to give you a default stream that's just kind of coded into it. So if you're seeing that, you did the right thing, which is that you went to the camera and set it as 3840 by 2160 if you wanted to use it as a 4K stream. The only difference is you'd have to go into the camera settings, and maybe you guys are familiar with this or maybe you're not. Go into camera settings. If you're getting a resolution on the front end you don't want and you've already set something in the camera, you go set the resolution up in the camera and you go to expert here, and then even though this is like a red thing that's warning, this is one case where you can use it for this. That's pretty clear. You click on keep camera stream and profile settings. And what that does is it turns NX Witness from the, originally with most cameras, we optimize the camera settings. Like when you're doing the install, if I go to system administration, you'll see the same dialog when you're setting up the system. You have this dialog right here. We have allow system to optimize camera settings, and that's a system-wide setting. So what that does is the server will go out, identify cameras, and then grab the streams from them that are like the camera reports back. We'll grab two streams, high-res stream, low-res stream. And if you want to actually just have the camera send us stuff without us optimizing, when we grab that high-res, low-res stream in the camera settings, when you go to recording, you've got medium, low, medium, high, best. And I know that's pretty vague. And I was the first person to balk at it because I came from, I worked in China for like 15 years and we could set up all the resolutions and everything like that. Chinese consumers and customers were really into the granular control of things. But what this really is medium is the same as optimal, which is it's the highest resolution or the highest image quality you're going to get for the lowest bandwidth possible. And then high and best you get progressively kind of logarithmically better footage, which is higher throughput and less loss. So you're getting a less compressed stream as you go along. But if you want to set the cameras up, or if you're taking over a system where the cameras were all set up a certain way and you want to maintain that system's camera settings without having NX Witness come in and override all the camera settings and say an installer on OnVIF profile and then manage that camera, you go in here. If you're going in on a system level, you go in here and you say basically you disable the allow system to optimize camera settings. And then we'll just grab whatever the cameras are sending us and we'll record that. Right, so we become the bucket that catches the water as opposed to the software that is actually telling the cameras what to give us and how to manage them. So that's how you would do that with a 4K camera that's for some reason streaming in a 1080 stream. Now, if that camera isn't acting the way you want it to as well, one of the things you could do as well is go to our cloud. Let me pull it in. And then go here to the supported devices page and look up the model of that camera. And then, so if I go in and look at like a Hikvision camera here, I don't know, I'll just pick that one. You can see the resolution of the high-res stream is reported as this. If you go in here and you find that camera model and it reports back as not 4K, then you can do two things. One, you can assume that the manufacturer ships it not in 4K as default settings. The other one is you can tell our support team, hey, I've got this model camera. It's saying it's 4K, but when NX Witness grabs the stream from it, it's grabbing 1080p. And they can do some troubleshooting for you on the support side to see is it functioning properly or not? And even if it is functioning properly, but for some reason it should be 4K because maybe it's being advertised as 4K, they can also change the default OnVIF profile that we install to make it give us 4K. So long answer to a short question.
Someone posted up there about the ActiveX cameras on the Hikvision. So I've just tested it on mine, by the way, and I've got an old Hikvision and a new Hikvision. The new Hikvision works perfectly. The old Hikvision does not.
Yeah, so the ActiveX is primarily required for playing back the images of the video, right? I think it's Glenn that's asking the question. So that's pretty standard behavior, Glenn. If they require ActiveX and they're like IE based, then I wouldn't be surprised that video playback doesn't work because of that. I think Google Chrome stopped supporting ActiveX as well. That's probably why.
Justin Reynolds. Hey, Justin. Good to talk to you again.
Let's try audio again with Justin. Maybe Justin's got a working mic.
Yep, mine's. Does that work?
Hey, yeah.
Hey, mate. How are you?
All right. How you doing?
Good, mate. Just a couple of questions. Push to notification for the mobile on the beta. Is that working at the moment?
Yeah, I can show it to you right now, actually. So go back to my office here. And then I'm going to pull in my USB camera right next to me. So right here. So with 4.1, to set up push notifications, you go into the camera, go to the camera rules, right? And you can see I've got one set up. Where is it? Send mobile application right here. So I've got it set up as a soft trigger, and I've also got it set up on motion. Let me find that other one. Somewhere in here. Oh, here it is. No, that's not right. That's all right. I can set it up right now. So why is it not showing though? That's kind of confusing. All right, so let's go motion on camera, and we want to select the office cam, right? And I want it to send a push notification. So I go send mobile notification. I can go here. So we got motion on camera starts at office, send mobile notification, and you can choose the distribution list. Now, you have to be a cloud user to get push notifications, right? So I'm going to send it to me. And then you can also customize the notification content. So you got header and body, right? So motion on camera in the office starts. I want you to send a mobile notification. I'm not going to do any custom text. I'm just going to leave it. Press apply. And then I'm going to go and check my motion camera, my motion settings just to make sure. Yep, I've got one over there. So if I stand up, I'll wave my hand in that spot. Then if you look here, oh, wrong camera. I've got a notification.
Still wrong camera, yep.
Yep. I've got a notification that came through that says, can you guys read that? Motion detected in home office.
Yep.
So that's what it looks like, basically. So you can go in and customize the text to be something more specific. And then when I push on that, sorry, forgot to push on the notification for you. Sorry, my beta version of the app decided it wanted to freeze because somebody sent me a message right at the same time. It does playback of the event. Right?
Okay.
So it pulls up that particular event. Now, there's a couple of things that personally I want to see improvement on it with when it comes out. Number one, first of all, it's great because you can now get mobile notifications, obviously. The second thing with it is it's still a push notification. And push notifications can accidentally kind of go away, right? So since push notifications can go away, I would like to see like a list of all the historical push notifications in the mobile app itself so that you could then go back and look at like individual thumbnails of the events and the history of push notifications you've received. So in case you, for some reason, miss a push notification, or maybe your kid is playing with your phone, playing a Candy Crush or whatever, and swipes away the notification, well then you could still find it, right?
Yeah.
So that's push notifications though. It's really simple to set up. I actually have it set up as well with like soft triggers on the cameras. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Oh, I'll have another look. I've got all that set up how you've set it up there, but it's just not pushing out. So.
And you've got a cloud account.
Got a cloud account, yeah.
And you're using version 20.1 of the mobile client.
I'll need to double check that. It's on an iPhone, so.
Oh, you're on an iPhone. So yeah, that's the problem. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Matt's got this presentation here, and he's also got the release brief we did. In the release brief, we say we have in the release notes itself, it mentions you need 20.1 version of the mobile application, which is in beta right now. So just what we were talking about earlier, go to the forum for beta feedback and say, hey, I'd like to test push notifications, but I'm an Apple user. Can I get access to the beta for iOS devices? And the support guy should be able to add you in there.
Okay, excellent.
No problem. Thanks, Justin.
I just have one more question.
All right.
Just in regards to the thermal camera, apparently you guys are testing that for analytics for Hikvision?
So you mean as in the temperature sensing, picking up the temperature of individual bits and pieces?
Correct, yeah, because I'm using it as an input at the moment, which is working fine.
Yeah, so here's the skinny on that one is a nice way of putting it. The API kind of is not that easy for us to do because it's a completely separate API. So we are going to get it done. It's just that the guys are finishing 4.1 and that feature will come out as a 4.1 patch.
Okay.
So we're not 100% sure when yet, but we do have a fix to get the actual feature working, which I can, if any of you guys want, just send me a thing and I'll send you the email of how to get it working. But it's not like you click on analytics and there it is sort of thing. It's a separate way to do it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I've got it all working and I've got NX sending out HTTP requests to a lot of other stuff I'm working on as well. So
yeah, in general, Hikvision, when they come out with new cameras, pretty quickly they'll put custom firmware on them that doesn't follow like their typical APIs or SDKs, and so there's a bit of a cat wrangling that goes on to get them to give us the right SDK or API to talk to those new devices. LPR, for example, took a lot longer than we expected because of that. They even had different LPR cameras with different firmware for different regions and different SDKs and APIs for each region. So basically, the more universally something like that is done, the faster it'll get integrated into our software. The other thing to keep in mind is as we approach like releases, like 4.1 when the beta comes out, our dev team is generally slammed with bug fixes and QAing and getting ready for that release. So they're generally, if a camera like that comes out around a release, you can pretty much guarantee it's not going to make it into that release. It'll be in a patch or in the next release. So.
Yep. No, perfect. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Aaron, have you got a microphone? Do you want to turn him on? Aaron Kingsley?
Aaron Goldsmith or Aaron Kingsley? Aaron Kingsley. What are the benefits of using video wall compared to a layout? I understand how a layout works. You can just put a Nuke or a Raspberry Pi on a monitor to show a layout, but what benefits will video wall give me? Video wall is a feature / we call it video wall / remote monitor, right? And all it is a version of the NX is the NX Witness desktop client running in video wall mode, and you can understand how it works if you have a friend log into the system and open up the same layout you're working on, but you're the admin, and you go in and you change something in that layout and you press save, it's going to automatically update on that other person's desktop client at the same time, and it's almost instant, and that's because of the way that the server hive architecture kind of synchronizes all the data. And video wall is kind of a free feature that came along because of that server hive architecture. There's some stuff that we have to do to maintain it and enhance it, but it's really primarily useful in a couple situations. One is you've got like a monitor that's high or away from you that you're not going to be able to interact with, like a mouse or camera or anything, but you still want to display stuff on it. So video wall / remote monitor would be a great way for grocery stores to show like a combination of using showreel, for example, or using the kind of layout switching. You could do things like have it rotate and show different content on that machine, where it shows an advertisement, then it jumps over and shows like, oh, you're being monitored, then it jumps back to another advertisement, that type of stuff. So grocery stores, retail, that's a great way to use it. Another way to use it, obviously, is in a video wall, like control room environment. One of our clients launches rockets, right? And builds electric cars. And they use it for their control room environments because it allows them to collaborate kind of in real time with different information being displayed on a central monitor, while they also are obviously doing different stuff on their own desktop clients. So, I mean, it's really a use case based thing. And it scales really simply. It's 2 monitors for each license, right? There's no amount of users that can get access to those monitors. It's really like a pretty simple, straightforward feature. It really depends on the value that the customer finds from it. You can do similar stuff to video wall, like I said, just by managing layouts in real time. So you don't necessarily need to use video wall if you just got one spot monitor that you're going to change layouts on, and you're going to do it by just manipulating the layout on a different desktop client and saving it, because then that other layout will update. But it's valuable for customers who have that scenario where they've got a monitor that they don't have any sort of control over, or they've got a monitor that they want to control content on, either in a control room environment or in a kind of retail environment. Remotely. We even have customers who do it for like managing all the stuff that's being displayed in their stores across like an entire country. They use the video wall license to do it because they can do it from a central location. So, I mean, it really depends on, what your customers value, what your customer wants to do, basically for video wall. Hopefully that answers your question. Is there any way we can have a pop-up screen showing SOPs in the event of an alarm condition? What's an SOP, Matt?
Standard operating procedure. Army term, mate.
Is there any way you can do that? Yeah, there's a way you could do that. You can open up layouts based off alarm conditions, and inside that layout you could have an embedded web page that actually shows the operating procedure of what you're supposed to do to respond to that alarm. A lot of the kind of ways that people want to use the software are different, right? Every single customer has different requirements for the most part, and we designed the software to allow you guys to kind of design the layouts and manipulate layouts, and then what's being displayed on those layouts really quickly. Because with the embedded browser, you're able to do things like that without having us create a new mechanic in the software. So the mechanics are the same, whether you're doing your own personal layout management or you're setting up a layout that's going to alert operators to follow a specific procedure, right? So a good case of that to me would be like a fire alarm, right? So if a fire alarm occurs, you can literally open up a map, have all the exits pop up, on that map. You can open the layout with the exits, so you can see if the exits are clear, and you can also have a browser open that shows evacuation routes, or you can have an image on that layout that shows evacuation routes. You don't have to use a browser. You can do a fixed image with the explanation of what you're supposed to do here, right? You could even have a video explainer where, this is happening right now, like it's kind of like Lost or one of those dystopian things where you got a guy pops up and tells you what to do. I mean, there's really no limit to how you can kind of display that information for your customer with the ability to open layouts on demand. So hopefully that answers the question below. Adam, Nancy Lou, push notification is only available for cloud users. You are breaking up. Yes, Nancy. You have to be a cloud user to use push notifications. It's all done through cloud. Adam, as more and more manufacturers are embedding AI events into their devices, is NX requesting the call events from manufacturers to enable compatibility, or do you wait for users to request? We are actually already working with camera manufacturers to bring in their AI events, and not only the events, but also the detected objects, the bounding boxes, the ability to draw on top of the camera to set up the analytics. All of that is being done starting with this next release. So in the next release, for Hanwha TechWin cameras, you will have the ability to see all the detected objects, to be able to manage the analytics inside the client. And then after the release, we will have some patches that come out to add additional manufacturers. The challenge right now is that all the manufacturers are doing it a different way, and not all of them have included that information in their standard API and SDK documentation yet. So we're working with the partners that we work with most closely to get it done first. And that's typically the process you're going to see for NX. Is we'll always do a few manufacturers, one or two manufacturers, the first time we do something like in-camera analytics, or like region of interest and analytics control and detected devices showing in the client. Those types of more advanced features, because the industry takes a while to get standardized and how that information gets shared, it takes us longer to integrate those things universally, because there is no universal method. ONVIF is not typically adhered to the first time camera manufacturers do a new feature like that, because it's easier and faster for them not to do it with ONVIF. But then once that camera is somewhat successful, they'll wrap it in ONVIF or make their API and SDK more standard, so that it's easier to get that information. Jason has a question. The beta version, Jason, for Android users is available in MyNX, and if you want Apple, go on the beta feedback in our support portal and ask for it, is the answer to that question. Is there a high-level interface between Hanwha and NX? Yes. Yes, there is.
But just to clarify, not between Hanwha Wave and NX, if that's what you're meaning.
Hanwha cameras and Hanwha devices and NX Witness. Yeah.
Yeah. But not Hanwha Wave, they're different.
Hanwha Wave is a powered by NX product, and it is its own product and its own ecosystem. So, is there a way that NX can stop Windows updates without going into the operating system? Most issues are caused when there are Windows updates, even when blocked in the OS services. I'm not sure, Etwell, what you're asking. Let me get you online so you can clarify. Hey, Etwell, you there? Oh, Etwell, nope. Etwell, oh wait, maybe. I think he just jumped on late. Let me try again. Etwell, you're back again. I saw you unmute right before I kicked you off.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah, how are you doing, man?
Good. Tony, what happens is even when you block updates in services of the operating system, right? Some updates just go through and they affect the NX Witness. So what I was wondering is there any way NX Witness can control those updates so that there are no updates at all? But some of them are not necessary at all. So if NX can block them in a way that you don't get them in the server.
No.
The feature.
No, you don't, and I'll tell you what, you don't want us messing around with Windows services, right? IT guys would lose their minds if we started going in and stopping updates and stuff like that for security and cyber updates and things. Unfortunately, it's just the reality that operating systems are constantly evolving. Windows seems to be having more updates than everyone else, but the best way to deal with an issue like that, right, is really just to report it right away, right? So that our guys can log in and see if they can help you resolve the issue. The second way to not have that issue is use Ubuntu. Because then you have much more control of the environment. That's pretty much the only way we're going to be able to deal with that issue on a big level. Because we don't want to play in the world of, hey, we're stopping Windows updates. That just gets real messy real fast.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah. Any other question while you're on, Etwell?
No, not right now until I play around with the 4.1 version more. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Don.
Question.
Cheers.
There we go.
We have another question here from Aaron. Is there a limit to the number of soft triggers a camera can have?
Practically or technically? There is no limit that I'm aware of to the number of soft triggers that you can put on a camera. That being said, right, I mean, the more soft triggers you put on the camera, the more buttons are going to show up on that camera, so the less usable they're going to get. One feature that I've been pushing with our dev team, and you guys can help me push, is making soft triggers independent items on the layout. Because that way I could set up even like control room environment type stuff where I'm creating soft triggers and then pulling them on the layout and making them, show up next to the cameras, or creating a different grid of soft triggers around my cameras and my information that I'm displaying. So,
another one from Nancy. Can NX do camera firmware updates?
With the web page now, I mean, you can manually do it. We do not do automatic updates of firmware right now. It's something that I've heard be requested from time to time, but it's not something that we can do really effectively right now, because there's, again, no real good universal way to get those updates from camera manufacturers. So
and just on that as well, some of the firmwares that the camera manufacturers release aren't tested as well as what we test our stuff. Just
yeah,
speaking of one, just speaking of one recently, like we had a camera manufacturer which put out a new firmware, and they forgot to put OnVIF into the firmware. Like,
yeah.
They released this firmware out wide, but there was no OnVIF in it. So,
yeah, I was gonna say that reminds me of the time that Hikvision released their 5.0 firmware and broke everybody's systems, right?
Yeah. So, and then my personal I've used to work for a camera manufacturer. If a camera is working, I don't update the firmware on it, because I mean it's not really connected to the internet anyway. So it's just connected to NX or whatever. So if the camera is working, I pretty much never update the firmware on the actual camera. That's only my personal opinion, though.
Yeah. Adam, I can't remember. Did Adam have a mic?
No.
Okay. Adam asked if regarding Linux distributions, the Linux stable on other Ubuntu LTS derivatives like POP. The answer, Adam, is probably, but we don't support it. So, and what that means is, we support Ubuntu. There's no reason that I can think of, and maybe you have a good one, of moving away from that Ubuntu, because Ubuntu is free. It's widespread. It has good support. So we do run on non-standard Linux. Anything that's Unix-based, I believe. But we only support Ubuntu, right? So if you've got a project where a customer's got a specific Linux distro they have to use, I mean, that would be the only case where it would be even worth asking the question to our support, can we use this Linux distribution? And their answer is going to be, yeah, but we don't support you. So it's possible, but not recommended. Mile site VCA HLI with NX. When can we have that, including LPR? I don't know off the top of my head as well. Like we said earlier, cameras are done in order of demand. So if you want an HLA to like a specific camera brand, the more noise you make on that community portal for network optics, the better.
So just on that one, well, we had a meeting in January in Taipei before this stuff happened, and all us requested Milesight and Bosch cameras to have the integration done as the two main priorities. But the first priority was to get 4.1 done, and then they can start working on other things.
Any other questions?
Is Ubuntu 20.04 LTS supported?
Yes, in beta, 4.1 beta, 20.04 should be supported. That being said, we saw a post earlier that somebody had an issue on the support portal that they brought up. Let me check and see who it was. Maybe it was Aaron. So the beta feedback right now is Danny Vandenberg. I'm guessing someone from our Benelux region asked this question. So they said that they had an error, but it should be supported in the beta. So give it a try and let us know what you see, Aaron. Any other questions? We're coming up on an hour. We're just a little bit over an hour. I'm happy to stay here a little bit longer if you guys have any more questions. All right. Well, if not, I mean, one thing to definitely note is the 4.1 beta information is available. Let me open up Gmail again. So
Nancy just asked us one more question, which is a good one, which is to do with the health monitoring in 4.1.
Oh, is there an event that can alert when a camera loses power? Yes, any camera that is disconnected from the system, you'll get an alert. That being said, in 4.1, there is a new capability. So, oop.
Great question, Nancy.
Okay. So a big feature that's coming up in 4.1 is health monitoring. So now when you open up the server web interface, you've got settings, you've got the client, you've got the health monitoring that we had in the past for the server itself, CPU, RAM, all that kind of good stuff, the storage, log files. Still got our developer tools. And now you've got this tab called information. And inside of information, system information, here you can see the system, the number of servers, number of cameras, number of storage locations, users, the version that you're running. When you go to servers, you can see server load, all the info about the server, its public IP, what version of the platform you're running OS, what the OS time is, what the VMS time is, see if everything's synchronized, what kind of CPU you have, how many cores, all this kind of detailed information about your server. Under cameras, you can see full status of the cameras as well, which server is assigned to, IP address, what the recording status, the number of events that have been produced by that camera, like health events, primary stream resolution, secondary stream resolution, frame rate, average frame rate drop, kind of all this information. Storage location, same stuff. You get read-write rates, total storage, how much of that storage is made up by the VMS media. And then for network interface, you get the network interfaces you have on that server, the state, IP addresses, and the in and out rate that you're seeing, right? So this is new. And health monitoring allows you guys to go in and check on the status of your system. So if you're an integrator and you do health monitoring for your customers, you could basically log in here and give them a report on what you see. The first version of it is really all about our support, actually. And this is free. I mean, it's included in the server. The first version of it allows our report, like in the past, if you had a support problem, our support team would tell you, hey, go in, enable advanced data logging, and then send us this dump file and all this kind of information that you had to do to get us information about what's going on with the system. Now, all you need to do is download a JSON file from the health monitoring interface, and then save that file and send it to our support team, and then they can run a report on that and find out what's going on with your system if you have any issues. So this is a new feature that is available in 4.1. And what I was about to say before that question was, Matt has a brief that he can share with you guys. He can share two things with you guys. The beta presentation, where we have demo videos that are available that I made for how the key new features work. And then also the kind of NX Witness brief, which goes over each new feature, how it works, right? And how you can use them, and then what the kind of, so health monitoring is broken down here by all the information. You're going to be able to see what the what the information is and what it shows you, right? So if you're interested in 4.1 beta, ping Matt and he can get you guys links to these documents so you can check them out. And then also you can download the beta from my.networkoffice.com. Can you have multiple levels of mapping, like in a high-rise scenario? Okay. The short answer is yes, right? And I'm guessing you're asking me how. Well, if you go into layout settings, right, and you've got the ability to kind of import a map. So I'm going to grab one of our bad maps we have. And I'm going to pull in this camera and create this, right? Now, the way that we do multi-level mapping is going to be pretty basic. Versus it's not an active mapping solution, but it does allow you to do multi-level mapping, right? I'm not sure why it's not letting me move stuff right now, but so if you see here, I've got a soft trigger, right? Let me restart my client real fast. It's being weird. The beta. All right, let's do that again. See if it's being less weird. All right, there you go. Now everything's working properly. All right, so you see the soft triggers that are in here, right? So one thing you can do to create a multi-level mapping experience is you can put that camera where you want it to go, right? Grab another camera, throw that somewhere, right? So let's say this is one level of a high rise, right? Then I can go to the camera, all the cameras if I want to, create a rule. And in that rule, use a soft trigger, right? I'll leave it on every camera, and I'll make it available for all users, assuming everybody knows what they're doing. And then I can use like arrows, like up and down. Let's go up, and I can call this go to level 2 or something like that, right? And then over here, I can do open a layout, right? And when I open a layout, then I can set up multiple layouts with maps, and I can select the next level of map, right? Rick Sanchez, that's hilarious. And then make that available for everybody. Press apply. So now I should have a little arrow, and if I hit that arrow, it's going to open a new layout, right? Now, this layout has nothing on it apparently, so let me add that one in, right? So here's a camera, right? So I've got this. Roommates. So they're gardening, apparently. So I've got this ability to open up layouts using soft triggers, right? So that's kind of how we do multi-level mapping. Is you can set up soft triggers and open up different maps with different layouts on them right now, right? So not true multi-level mapping with like interactive HTML maps, but one of the things that we always encourage of our integrator partners is team up with a software developer locally, because a lot of that stuff, the active mapping and things like that, can be done really quickly by a software developer using the browser-based interface. So you could have multi-level mapping mixed with live video and everything, but via more the browser-based interface as opposed to doing it inside of our system. Our system is really set up to do a couple things: display media, right? Live and recorded video, and live stream cameras, and then show you events that are related to those. So multi-level mapping isn't super in our wheelhouse for the most part. It doesn't mean you can't set it up for your customer. You can, using soft triggers or creating a custom interface in a browser environment. But that's how I recommend using multi-level mapping, is going and setting up soft triggers of the cameras that you want to use to navigate between the different layouts that actually have the maps that are on them. So hopefully that answered your question, Hilla. Hello? Hilly?
Hilly.
Hilly? All right. Any other questions?
That seems to be it.
All right. Well, if you do have any questions, guys, we have the support community. I'm going to keep beating on it because it's really a place where we're seeing a lot more activity, especially with developers right now. But integrators can participate there as well. And we have support guys who are watching that forum and will answer questions for you, whether you're an end user, whether you're an integrator, or one of our distribution partners. That really is a really good way to get answers back on questions you have at any time. You know, asking Matt all the time, Matt's going to ask our support team. So rather than going through Matt on every single question, if you ask it in the forum, you're likely to get an answer back quicker. Now, you're still welcome to bother Matt, because that's what he's there for. Right, Matt? So
pretty much.
And it'll probably be helpful for him if you loop him in on those conversations in community. I mean, you can tag people, from what I understand. There's a question from Hilly, which is, where is OLIE?
Where's Ollie?
Where's Ollie? Oh, Ollie's in quarantine at the office. Ollie's a quarantine at the office, so it's my little Bluetooth toy that I have. So,
right.
Yeah, my office is like a ghost town. I mean, I can open it up for you guys if you want to see it. I think. Let me see. Tony office demo. Yeah. There's been like no activity in my office for quite some time. So it's a bit like looking at an apocalyptic video, right? It's just dark gray and like nothing's going on in there. It's probably got dust all over it. I don't know. It's been like 8 or 9 weeks since I've been there. So it's a good time. All right. Well, I think that is the end of the questions. Like I said, jump on the support forum, ask those questions, and get involved there. You know, bang on us for features that you want. The more noise you make, the more likely a feature is to get done. Matt, do you want to add anything else?
No, I mean, you guys should have my email address. If you guys have any other questions afterwards, or if you need demo licenses or whatever, feel free to hit me up. But yeah, any questions you guys have, if you think of anything afterwards, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah. A general note is, Australia.
We're not traveling anywhere. We're not traveling anywhere, so we've got lots of free time. Well,
yeah, you do. I was gonna say, Australia has been a really great region for us in the last year or two. So we really appreciate the work you guys have done creating that market down there. So we'd love to hear Australia, Oceania, New Zealand as well. We'd love to hear any sort of ideas you have that are or troubles you're having in that market with the product, or things that would make it easier to sell or support your clients. There are a lot of cool new features in 4.1. So, Glenn, yeah, the webinar will be made available on our YouTube channel, and it'll also be available in my NX. So if you're looking for webinars, since I got you guys online still, go to my NX and click on webinars, and all of our Works with the Next webinars are up here right now. All the integrations we have and all the webinars we've done with partners. You can see them right now, and then soon there'll be another tab here that says NX Solutions Webinars, and you'll be able to see all these solution webinars that we're doing as well. And then final kind of plug would be go to youtube.com and then subscribe to our channel. We put out videos every once in a while. They usually come in spurts around releases. But if you look at our library of videos, our videos, we've got quite a few up there right now. All the Works of the Next integration stuff, all the new features for the beta are in there. We regularly update the video channel. So if you subscribe to us by hitting the subscribe button, which I can't see because I'm in charge of the channel, then we'd love to have you guys join us on YouTube so we can send you alerts to your inbox when there's new videos. Justin, where you request a new iPhone is support.networkoptix.com, like this, right? And then you see this button, join the conversation, or you see this button at the top, community. You just click on that community button, and inside the community, you got new feature ideas, dev forum, mobile cloud integrations, desktop server, and then beta feedback. So go to beta feedback here and just say, hey, I'd like to try out the iOS. I heard I might be able to get my hands on it, from Tony and Matt, so that they know who to be mad at.
The dev team's always mad at you, Tony.
Yes, I am. The dev team is always mad at me. It's true. I'm the troublemaker. So if it is safe to say that an integration is released with Hanwha VMS, it will work with the NX client. Colin, it's a really good question. Okay. One thing that you should look at that will help you kind of understand this, and that it's a new thing for the most part, because it really just started happening end of 2018 and middle of 2019 with 4.0. But we've got two products, right? One product is NX Witness VMS, and the other product is NX Meta, which is a video platform, development platform. And we have this thing called Powered by NX. And Powered by NX products are any product that's developed with Meta. And that includes NX Witness, and that includes Hanwha Wave, right? And like 20 other different brands of products that are out there right now. We won't put those brands up here for the most part, because they're our customers, and just like, anybody who OEMs a camera out of China, Taiwan, they generally put their own brand on it, so we don't want to, out them. But Hanwha Wave obviously is a Powered by NX product, and since all of these products are developed with the same exact platform, which is Meta, Meta is really the kind of next generation of technology that's going to come out. So if you're a developer and you want to do an integration, or you're you're working with a customer who maybe wants to create a new solution similar to like NX Witness, but maybe for a different vertical market, Meta would be the place to go. Because and to answer your question, every single product that's developed with Meta has the same exact APIs and SDKs. So if an integration is done with one Powered by NX product, then it is part of the Works with NX ecosystem, which means that it will work with every single one of the Powered by NX products that are out there.
Just on saying that as well, Colin, just to interrupt the Tony, just because something's not on our Works with NX page doesn't mean we don't work with it.
Absolutely.
Someone has to actually request for it to be on the Works with NX page. We don't put every integration up there.
Yeah, we can't, because NX Witness is so open, and all the Powered by NX products, they have the developer tools built right into the server application. There is no barrier to entry to creating an integration with our products like there may be with some of our competitors. Everybody has access to developer tools. Because of that, we hear about integrations all the time, and Matt can speak to it because we have our weekly sales calls with the different regions. We hear about integrations all the time, and we have no idea who did them or how they came about, right? Until we kind of dig into it and try and find out. So there are hundreds of integrations, if not thousands of integrations that are already out there. We just don't have them all documented because it's an open system, like a WordPress or like a IFTT or like a Zapier. There are tons of integrations that work that nobody knows about because some developer wrote them for a specific project or for a specific customer. And that's kind of the power of the whole NX Witness thing is you have the ability to develop whatever you want for your customers and to do it really, really quickly because the dev tools are very easy to use and any developer who's out there can generally take them and create something without talking to us at all. So, long answer to your question, but yeah, any integration that's done should work with all products. Now, that doesn't mean there's one caveat there, which is if we work with a Powered by NX partner who has a proprietary technology that they want to control, then that is up to them. They can determine whether or not to release it into the wild or to make it compatible with
the Inception one does work though. I've tested it.
Inception, yeah. So majority will. 4.1 release, when will it be released? It's always a good question, right? Right now, as of the latest update from our QA, we're looking at end of June, beginning of July. And they're fairly certain that we're going to be sticking to that timeline. So you should see it in the next 2 months, right? 4.1. All right. I think we're done.
Cool. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, everyone, for coming along.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to come and ask these questions. They're great questions. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll speak to you all again soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.